with another video. Before we get into the video, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn on post notifications. Cardi B, the numbers are in. We gotta pull you to the front of the congregation. Well, not the official numbers, but basically the predictions are still in. And down to the final day, it looks like Cardi B's imaginary hit, imaginary faces or surgery, whatever you want to call it, is going to debut at number 71 on the Hot 100. Now, a lot of fans are saying this is still good for Cardi B because at the end of the day, they're saying that it wasn't supposed to be a hit record. That's what Garbage Gang, they're trying to push that narrative. I definitely think she thought it was going to be a hit. She had the playlisting. She had the music video. She even changed her wig color to pink so the barbs would stream. That didn't happen. I definitely think she thought she was going to get like a Megan moment. And how Megan dissed everybody in Piss and Nicki Minaj reacted. I think she thought at least one of the female rappers that she dissed were going to react. Whether it be Ice Spice, whether it be JT. Sweetie kind of subliminally reacted on social media. But nobody really gives a fuck about Sweetie. But she definitely thought that she was going to get a hit song. Let's just be honest, okay? And unfortunately, I'm going to have to give Cardi B 50,000 lashings, okay? Because the thing is, Cardi B talked a lot of shit in the record. One of the main things she said is that you girls are flops. You can't be a flop and call other people flops and then cry on Spaces and Live when people don't like your music, okay? Even Downside wasn't really a hit record, okay? Y'all was acting like that was going to be the song of the summer, and that's definitely not the case. Now, moving on from that, Doja Cat's Jealous Type is being sabotaged, okay? It has been reported that Doja Cat's Jealous Type is currently aiming for a top 50 debut next week on the Billboard Hot 100. The track is projected to accumulate 8 to 10 million streams, 4,000 to 6,000 digital downloads by the end of the current tracking week. How the hell is this possible? This is supposed to be the song of the summer, and top 50, that's all you can do, Doja? This is not a good look, okay? Now, hypothetically, Doja Cat is a grower, not a shower, okay? She grows on the charts, I don't think the Town Is Dead debut at number 1 or the top 10. The same thing with, what was that other record she put out? Say So and Kiss Me More. They grew on the charts, correct? So maybe this is going to grow on the charts, but this is just not a good look for a comeback single. Like, oh my goodness. At least you're doing better than Cardi B. But still, not great. Okay, so we gonna give Doja Cat the benefit of the doubt. We know she gonna come through at the end of the day and give us that top 10. Okay, may not debut at top 10, but it's gonna get to the top 10, hopefully. And you may say, well, why do charts matter? I feel as though this generation of listeners of music, if a song starts off bad on the charts, then people are not going to want to listen to it. And this is supposed to be the song of the summer. So we definitely have to go support Doja Cat, stream Jealous Type, so Doja Cat can get a top 10. And the thing is, it's like Doja Cat's getting the payola. She got the music video. She looks good in the music video. And you still flopping after you get all this payola? Like, come on now. This is ridiculous. RCA needs to be fired. I can't wait till she leave them. They sabotaged D0JA. They sabotaged SZA. Doja Cat's not the problem. RCA, the colorist, is. And that's why I do not like them. Worst label ever. 50,000 lashings to RCA. You better not let Doja Cat's comeback single flop, or we will have a problem. Now, Cardi B decides to go more on a rant and threatens, people that she feels like don't believe in her, that she will, in fact, never retire from music.
If my career ever ends, it's going to be because I died. It's never going to be because a opinion or motherfuckers got to me. You might put me in a bed. You might put tears in my eyes. You might even put me on my knees asking God, what the fuck? But you will never make me quit. Never. So if the goal is to beat me down like a horse, dogpile on me until I be like, you know what? This is not for me anymore. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to do something else. I'm not. And this is not for my fans. This is not for the money. This is for me. Because I'm not a quitter. I'm not. I was feeling down. I was feeling so down yesterday. I didn't even want to get out of my bed. My man came through and was like, oh no, this is not the girl I met. This ain't that big talk shit you be talking. I recall my team and I was like, y'all better tighten up that fucking schedule because we got an album to push. Everybody's working hard. We're going to add extra, 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 extra. I'm going to win.
Now, here's the thing. Cardi B tries to act like she calls the shots. Bitch, you don't have a choice but to put out the album because you're in a 360 deal. You're in a contract with Titanic Records. That's one. So you already put the vinyls and the merch out. You have no choice but to put out the album. Why are you acting like you were going to scrap the album? Like you have a choice. You don't have a choice. You're in a record deal, dummy. I mean, she's trying to act like she called the shots. The only shots that you call are the ones that are in your ass. I don't understand it. Like, she think people are dumb. Like, you don't control nothing over here. You drop when Titanic Records tell you to drop, just like they told you to drop outside. You didn't want to drop outside. You wanted to drop another record. I hope it wasn't Imaginary Faces, but they told you to drop that. You don't have a choice. Now, of course, Wackademics continues to humiliate Megan Thee Stallion, and he tells her lawyers what he thinks happened between her, Kelsey, and Torrance.
Wanting to shoot the other woman. Maybe if you put Megan and Kelsey side by side, you'll see that there's a vast difference in size. What I think was happening, Meg was tossing around like a rag doll. And then they were fighting. Again, I'm even open to being wrong on how the gun came into play in terms of who pulled the gun out first because it was in a car. But I wholeheartedly believe that woman pointed the gun at Meg. And what Tory did, Tory tried to wrestle the gun away. It discharged a few times. Clearly didn't shoot her directly, but it did ricochet off the pavement, and obviously some shrapnel hit her. But still, based on that belief of how I believe that went down, to say that, hey, this dude hopped out after we just found out he's been screwing both of us, and he says, dance, bitch, dance, and just shot me. I'm not believing that. Also, here's the thing. When in the history of time, and again, I'm using a lot of common sense things to make up my opinion because things got to make sense. You're telling me that Tory does that, tries to execute you on some road in Hollywood, and your best friend doesn't talk to you after that day or after that incident, y'all fall out. How is that a thing?
Thank you, Academics. That's the only time I would give you your twos. Okay? I've been saying that for the longest time that Kelsey shot Meg. At first, many people didn't believe me. But also what I would have said on Wackademics, and you missed the mark with this, why the hell did Kelsey get immunity? Okay? I would have asked Devil Nation lawyers, why did Kelsey need immunity? Who gets immunity if they innocent? I don't know any innocent person that needs immunity. I only know people that have committed a crime and need to do the time that need immunity. Okay? That's what I would have said. Because it just doesn't make sense why Kelsey needed immunity. Okay? For what? If you didn't do anything, why do you need that? Okay? Why aren't you and Megan friends? Y'all was besties. You were doing her homework. What happened? Now, moving on to hating ass Kelis. Kelis was throwing shade at Queen B because, as we know, Queen B had an ad campaign for the Levi Jean Company for her Cowboy Carter era. And so a fan wrote under their Neighborhood Talk blog, now this is who should have represented the Levi brand, because Kelis redid her vocals for her song Milkshake for the Gap commercial that came out. Hating ass Kelis decided to respond and said, get it together. Now, Kelis, come on. You know damn well you cannot sell nothing. That's why you had to turn to cooking. At least Beyonce can drop music and sell. You drop a song today, you still stuck in the Milkshakes era. You drop a song today and it's flopping. Okay? They sampled the song that you don't own, by the way. Pharrell owns it. That's why you was mad that she used your vocals in the song Energy, which was on the Renaissance album. But she was allowed to use her vocals because you don't own your music. Pharrell owns it. And you was mad at Queen B. Why don't you own your music? Okay? You should be mad at Pharrell. I don't like that Kelis stayed throwing shade at Queen B. Like Queen B did something to her. How you mad that you don't own your music and Pharrell allowed Queen B to sample you? Okay? How are you mad at Queen B for that? The only reason why she removed your vocals because you kept complaining and being obnoxious, trying to ruin the Renaissance era. But you need to pipe down, okay? I'm tired of her throwing shade at Queen B. Shouldn't you be working on your next cookbook? That's all you can do is cook right now. Okay, that's all you can do. Go make some biscuits and leave Queen B alone. I'm tired of you throwing shade because that music career is over. Okay? Don't be mad at Queen B because you don't own your music. And Levi's would never call you. That's why you had to do Gap. That's why you had to do Gap. Levi's will never call you for a commercial. Okay? Gap didn't even call you. They used your vocals. Okay? Cat's Eye had the commercial. They were in the advertising. Okay? So, Kelis, please come to the front of the congregation and receive 100,000 lashings. Okay? My whole thing is don't be mad that you don't own your own music. That's not Beyonce's fault. Okay? You gotta take accountability. You need to take that up with Pharrell. Your beef is with Pharrell, not with Queen B. They're always mad at the woman. You need to take that anger out on Pharrell. Too bad when you were sleeping with him, allegedly, you couldn't get him to not put you in a 360 deal. No shade. Now, moving on to the best-selling albums by rappers in 2025 so far. Number one, of course, the king of rap will be at number one, GNX, selling 1.8 million in 2025. Mind you, the album came out last year. Okay? Then Sexy Songs For You, which is technically R&B, came in second place with 1.3 million. Music by Playboy Bottom Bussy Cardi's sold 1 million. And then Lil Baby's Wham sold 667,000. That's not good. Take Care by the Big X The Plug sold 652,000. Tyler the Creator sold 649,000. Alligator Bites Never Heal, that is D0JA's mixtape, did 621,000. That's not too bad considering that first week it only sold 11,000. So we do have to give D0JA her fours for this. It's not great, but it's not bad at all. Good Kid, Mad City sold 618,000 in 2025. Ain't that album old? And then Damn, also by Kung Fu Kenny, sold 587,000. That's an old album too. And then Take Care by Champagne Thickums sold 568,000. Okay, so it looks like Kung Fu Kenny, he has the most albums on this list. I'm like, damn, y'all listening to Good Kid, Mad City, and damn, now those are classics. We just gotta be honest, those are classics. But I mean, for it to be selling like this, that is insane. Okay, but we do have to give Kung Fu Kenny his tens for this. Now, moving on from that, fans are calling Champagne Thickums out because he has decided to purchase Tupac's official Death Row Records pendant from jeweler Alexander Bitar. Okay? Now, here's my thing. As we know, Kung Fu Kenny called him out before for buying a Tupac jewelry piece. I don't remember if that was in Euphoria or Not Like Us. But the point of the matter is, I think Champagne Thickums is trying to do this to get under Kung Fu Kenny's skin. That's all this is about. First of all, the piece looks hideous. I'm gonna be honest with you, I would never buy no bullshit piece like that. The thing is ugly. Okay, I don't care if it's real or not. Very gaudy, very ugly. Not something I would ever try to purchase, even if it was owned by an icon. But I think with Champagne Thickums, he has an obsession with Kung Fu Kenny. And we gotta admit that. There's definitely an obsession. You know you're trying to trigger Kung Fu Kenny by buying this piece. That's why I feel like he keeps subliminally mentioning Kung Fu Kenny. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's mentioning him in a lawsuit a few weeks ago. At his concert, his fans were screaming, F Kung Fu Kenny. You don't see at any Kendrick Lamar concert, they're screaming F Drake. They're never doing that. It is evident that, no shade, Champagne Thickums has an obsession with Kung Fu Kenny because he is appalled by the fact that he was successfully taken out, not just by the industry, by Kung Fu Kenny, and it has basically ruined his career. He hasn't went number one since. Let's talk about that. You can say, oh, it hasn't done damage. He hasn't gotten a number one since the beef. And then on top of that, now he's doing bundles. Champagne Thickums don't ever do bundles. Now he's gearing up to do bundles with his next release. That's a sign that you're worried about the sales. Even Kung Fu Kenny, first week sales, he didn't have no bundles. He didn't even have physicals. Did 319. So I think this is a testament that Champagne Thickums is bothered by Kung Fu Kenny, and that's the only reason why he bought this. But anyway, I got some very hot tea on Patreon on who tried to take Tamar Braxton out. Link will be in the description, and I hope you guys have a great day.